CurlieCrys. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be getting into some length retention tips.
Okay.
And honestly, I am so excited about today's video because honestly, this video will apply to a lot of hair types, porosity, density, everything, and also to anyone who considers themselves to be natural. So before I go ahead and get into today's video, if you are new to your girl's channel, make sure you do one thing and one thing only, okay? And that is to smash that button down below. Smash that button down below. And join the CurlieCrys fam because we would love to have you here. So length retention is super important because that basically means how our hair grows and how we're actually able to see that growth. So these tips are tips that are going to help and aid you in getting that length retention. Now for me personally, I actually did not even notice how much length I was retaining until you guys pointed it out for me. So as of lately, y'all have been telling me like, sis, we are seeing the difference in your length. We are seeing that your routine is working, like your hair is actually growing. And that actually pushed me to go look at my old videos and pictures, and y'all were right. My hair has most definitely retained a whole lot of length. And length retention is the exact same thing as hair growth. Whenever your hair retains the length, your hair gets longer. And by your hair retaining the length, that means that you are doing things that are positive in growing your hair. So I have 5 tips for you guys. Let's hop into them. So tip number 1 is make sure you are keeping your ends healthy. So that really encompasses getting regular trims and also making sure your ends stay moisturized, the right amount of product, the right type of product, but more importantly, making sure you are getting your trims. I trim my hair myself, but I also am going to be going to a professional really soon to get my hair trimmed because I want to make sure that everything is good. So I do recommend going to a professional if you are not too sure on how to trim your hair, but I'm going to also be sharing with you guys soon a really simple at-home way to trim your hair. But once again, this is a very serious and important step that you guys should not take lightly. So if you are not sure how to do it yourself, make sure you're going to someone else who is a professional. Now, the reason why I say it's a very important tip, the reason why I say it's a very important step is because if you are using the wrong type of scissors, if your scissors are not sharp enough, if you do not know how much to cut, if you do not know what to cut, what to identify and cut, then you are going to damage your hair. Your scissors have to be cutting scissors that are certified. So I recommend getting them from the beauty supply store as far as Sally's or ordering online, getting some that are certified for trimming hair. Not paper, not art, not any of that, hair. So that's super important, is making sure your ends are trimmed. How often do you trim? I never put a time frame on trimming. I trim whenever my hair needs to be trimmed, whether that's every 2 weeks, every month. Well, actually, I never trim my hair every 2 weeks, but every 2 months, every 3 months, every 4 months, that's how I trim my hair. Now, if you are having to trim your hair every 2 weeks, then I will say, like, there's probably something that's underlying that you're doing incorrectly, and your hair really isn't receiving that the way that it should. Now, the reason behind it, the reason why keeping healthy ends is important is because the hair grows from the scalp, but it splits at the ends. So if your ends are not healthy, then all that growth that's coming from the scalp is going to constantly be splitting up that shaft, which means you will never see that length being retained. Now, tip number 2 is to make sure that your scalp is free of buildup and is clean. So I think this tip is super important, especially since we are entering summer. Our hair can most definitely start to have a lot of buildup on it. So you want to make sure you are keeping your scalp clean. And I do this by using a shampoo. Now, I typically shampoo my hair every week, but I know a lot of people do like to use co-washes. I also like to use co-wash, and I recommend co-washes. However, I also recommend, and I tell you guys all the time, you have to be making sure your scalp is clean. So while a co-wash may be good, it's like, say you want to do a midweek re-moisturize, or if you work out a lot and you need to co-wash your hair just to get all that sweat or buildup off, then fine. But I still recommend that you have a routine that includes shampooing your hair at least 3 to 4 times a month. Well, 4 times the most per month, but at least 3 times. So if you have buildup on your scalp, whenever your hair grows from the scalp, that buildup is going to prevent that growth from coming out, right? So it decreases your chance of retaining that length. So that's really why you want to make sure that your scalp is clean and just allowing all of the growth to happen without anything getting in the way. Now, although cold washes do have some cleansing properties, it's still not the best as a shampoo. A shampoo is going to be the best way for you to cleanse your hair and make sure that it's clean. If you're washing your hair with a conditioner, that's most definitely not washing your hair. That's just that's just making your hair soft. You're not washing your hair at all. So please take note of that and determining what you're doing to your hair and why you're getting the results that you're getting. Now, my third tip, which is also super important, is knowing your hair porosity. That is so key in length retention, because the tips that you could be following could be directly affecting you negatively because you don't know your hair porosity. For instance, if you're only deep conditioning for 10 minutes, for 5 minutes, and you're low porosity, that is not going to help you whatsoever, because you're not giving your hair a long enough time to allow that heat to penetrate into your strands. Low porosity means our hair has a hard time with accepting product. So we really have to give it enough of time, ample enough time to accept that product. So if you don't know that your hair is low porosity, then you could really be doing something that's negatively affecting your hair. But a little bit of change could greatly change the result that you get. I am low porosity, as most of you guys know if you watch my channel, Low Porosity Gang, stand up. So I mainly give tips to help low porosity hair. But also, if you're a high porosity, it's super important to know what your porosity level is, so you know what routine and techniques you need to tweak in order to get the maximum results for your hair. All the tips that I'm giving in today's video will apply to any porosity level. Now, tip number 4 is deep conditioning. Deep conditioning. Okay, honestly, I don't care if you are low, medium, high, low, medium, high, low, high. I don't care. If you have natural hair, you need to be deep conditioning on a weekly basis to lock in that moisture and all the benefits from that deep conditioner. Low porosity, 30 to 45 minutes of deep conditioning. That's just, it has to be done no matter the season as well, because once again, the heat opens up the hair shaft, allowing all that product to really soak into our hair. If you are high porosity, then your hair will not have as hard of a time accepting product, so you may not have to deep condition it for that long, but it of course will not hurt. Deep conditioning is super important. But something else that's also important whenever it comes to deep conditioning is protein. Protein can really help you or it can hurt you. So if you are not deep conditioning with a protein at all, and you are seeing that your hair is really weak and everything, try to insert a protein deep conditioner once a month into your routine and see how your hair reacts to that. So protein really strengthens the hair, and by your hair being stronger, it will retain that length. Now, please do not take everything that I'm saying as like something that you should live by, because I'm speaking on my hair, right? So for me, I know protein, I do not do it 2, 3, 4 times a month, because you can protein overload your hair, and that's when your hair will negatively be affected. It will really be weak, it'll start to be real frizzy and just act really different, and that will not help with length retention at all. So deep conditioning aids length retention, and also adding a protein deep conditioner helps with length retention. Those strengthen the hair. Now, whenever I say a protein deep condition, all I'm saying is 1 week out of the month, I replace my regular deep conditioner with a protein deep conditioner, and I get my protein in for that month. All right, so tip number 5, my last tip, so important, guys. Low tension manipulation, low tension styles. Make them become your best friend. When you constantly manipulate your hair, which is something that I always speak about, you are doing nothing but damaging your hair in the long run. Our hair does not need to be manipulated every single day, every other day, which is also why I am highly against remoisturizing hair. Because once you know that routine, you will not have to remoisturize your hair. Your hair will stay moisturized and stay decent for that week. Our hair may not be the best on day 7 as it was day 1, but that's because it's day 7. That's okay. Your hair is not going to look its best all the time, but it's also not going to be dry. So it's not needed, it's not required for you to re-moisturize it. Whenever we manipulate our hair the most, or mess with it the most, that's when you get more shedding, that's when you can possibly get more breakage, low manipulation. A twist out is low manipulation for me, because whenever I do my twist out, my hair will stay like this for the whole week. I'm not gonna do a side part, a half up, a half down, a low ponytail, changing it every single day. I'm gonna keep it as this twist out. Now towards the end of the week, I may put it in a ponytail, but I'm only gonna do one ponytail. I'm not gonna have a low ponytail one day, then a high ponytail the next day. That is high manipulation, and that most definitely could attribute to shedding, breakage, and also our hair not retaining that length that we want. Focus on not always having to mess with your hair. Focus on getting a routine, a set of products that work great for your hair, and stick to that routine. That will help you so much when it comes to length retention, which is honestly why I feel like my hair has retained the length that it has. I'll insert some pictures to show you guys what my hair looked like before versus now and everything with my length. But I feel like having a routine that is really consistent, that I am constantly doing, is really helping me in retaining the length for my natural hair. Now, I'm an influencer, so I am switching up my products a lot, but my routine stays the exact same. If you guys notice, I have the same routine. So it's really, really important that you guys get a routine based on your hair type, which I also have videos on as well. Let me know from these 5 tips that I gave you guys what you guys think about today's video. Also, guys, realize that length retention takes patience. And something else that I wanted to mention, I almost forgot, is to track your progress with pictures or videos. So I would have never known that my hair actually was retaining length or getting longer if I didn't have those videos and pictures to look back on. So make sure you are taking note of your hair's progress so you guys can see that journey. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you are new here, go ahead and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for the support. And I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Peace.